Hi, everybody. My name is Corey Hancock, and I am with Stampin' Up. For those of you that don't know me, I am the Vice President of Marketing. And I have with me today Ashley Christensen, who is the head of our product group, which means like product development and sourcing and strategy and what else? Product data, like all the things.
All the things.
We wanted to spend a little bit of time with you today as we go through this transition with Stampin' Up and Close to My Heart to answer a few questions that many of you have had, both makers and demonstrators alike, related specifically to product and policy. So that's what we're going to cover for the next several minutes, just so that you kind of know what we're planning related to transition. So we're going to try and do the whole tech thing. This is pretty quick, rough and rapid, we would like to say, but hopefully this information will help you as you move forward. So the first thing that we want to talk about, I think, is product. And so, Ashley, I think one of the big questions that many makers have had is Stampin' Up committed to scrapbooking in the future?
Yes. My team will tell you we are very committed because we are working with some time constraints that are shorter than we ever have. So I promise you, we are very committed. We're excited about this opportunity. We actually know that a lot of our Stampin' Up demonstrators also love memory keeping and love the idea of a 12 by 12 addition to our line.
Okay, so 12 by 12, that's really where we're heading for our solution,
yes.
Right? Okay, so let me ask you a little bit. So what does the future look like? Not immediate, but what does long-term look like?
Yeah, so there's lots of things. First of all, we need albums. So we probably, I don't want everyone to get their heart set on getting every color of album because that's probably not what we will do, but we will offer a variety of albums.
Okay.
And so we're working on that as quickly as we can.
Okay.
We will also be doing memory protectors and flip flaps. Sorry, I'm looking at Corey's notes. She's going to help keep me on track here. So the flip flops we know are so cool, and we need to make sure that we have all of the different memory protector sizes that you need in order to have a good experience memory keeping.
Okay, so for our Stampin' Up demonstrators, if you're not sure what a flip flap is, it's actually not like a full sheet or page protector. It's kind of like a little pocket. Think of it as a clear card envelope.
Yes.
That actually you put on your page, like on top. And so you can put like extra photos and they kind of flip. It makes the page a little bit interactive. You can talk to your maker friends and they'll explain what they are, but they're pretty cool. Okay, so albums and memory protectors will be a core part of the life. Those are going to take us a little longer. We'll talk more about timing later.
Yes.
So what are some of the other things that we're bringing into our line?
Some of the other things that we will be doing is we are going to be introducing a line of 12 by 12 two-toned cardstock. And what that is that it actually has a white core, and it's something that Close to My Heart does today that they call cardstock. And what's cool about it is that on one side you have the full color, and then on the back side you have a slightly like lesser shade. And so you really do have two different tones to work with on the same color cardstock.
Okay,
the same sheet.
Love that. So Close to My Heart has had this, and we'll do it in 12 by 12.
Yes,
correct.
And in all colors.
Okay, and we're looking in all colors, and we're looking at configurations. We know it's important not to have only assortment packs. We're still determining what that looks like, but be aware that it will not be just assortment packs that we're used to today.
So the big undertaking.
Yeah. So 12 by 12 in two-tone cardstock, 8.5 by 11 and A4 cardstock for us will remain a milled product, which means dyed all the way through. Correct. This will become our 12 by 12 solution.
Yes, and there's lots of fun techniques that you can do with both. So we're excited that we'll have both in our lineup.
Cool. Okay, so we've talked those things. I think one of the things that I would love to talk about is one of the things that Close to My Heart's done really well is what's called scrapbooking workshop kits, where it is everything, not everything, but the consumable parts that you need to do 3 12 by 12 layouts.
Yes.
So we will be bringing over that concept to Stampin' Up as part of our offering.
Yes. And I also think what's cool about that is that it teaches someone how to cut down that cardstock. It makes it very easy to understand step by step what you're supposed to do while learning things like how do you cut down your cardstock. Whether you're experienced or not, it's pretty handy and helpful.
Cool. And they have instructions in them.
Yes.
So it's not just the components, it's instructions.
Yes. So step by step, they're very detailed, I would say, the instructions. So we're learning all about this right now.
Okay, so that'll be long-term in our line.
And they also have card making kits that we will be taking that are in this workshop kind of style. And so we'll be trying out a couple of those as well.
Okay, so does that mean Kit's collection for us goes away?
No, Kids Collection is still here.
Okay.
They're kind of sisters, but they're different.
Okay.
So we want to see, who's close to my heart has had a lot of success with their card kits. So we want, or their workshop kits. I won't call them workshop card kits. So we want to see how this plays out for our demonstrators and customers as well.
Okay. So what that means is we don't know long-term the future of the card making workshops, but we're going to test and try. We do know long-term that scrapbooking workshops will be part of our life.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go through a couple other things pretty quickly because I think those were the biggies.
Those are the big ones.
Okay. What are a couple of the other things we'll bring over?
So something else that close to my heart does are sticker sheets. We're definitely looking at those as they are part of the workshop kit. So we'll have some sticker sheets. We'll have some more laser cut products that close to my heart does really well. We're excited to look into that a little bit more. We'll have sweets and stamps and bundles and all the things that we're used to here at Stampin' Up. Some of those will start to have a memory keeping feel and a product strategy, actually.
Okay. So I love that because it's not about just we have a great offering of products and you need to make them work for memory keeping. We actually will design with memory keeping in mind for some of those products.
Yes.
Okay.
So we also will be looking into like virtual album retreats, and those are supported by product. So that'll be for everyone, whether you're a maker now about to join us or a Stampin' Up demonstrator. That should be a fun addition to what we're doing.
For our demonstrators, think World Card Making Day, but scrapbooking related, where over the course of several days, people make a full album. Different than World Card Making Day, it is not a free event. It's actually a paid for event. So that's something that will be coming. And then a couple other things, just so that you know, we're looking at how we support National Scrapbook Day moving forward. That has not been big for us in terms of our efforts, but it will become larger. Woo-hoo! And then long-term, we are looking at close to my heart's ink pad case.
Yes.
And what that might mean for us. So a couple of things that we're still exploring. We don't have a bulk product offering. That matters quite a bit for the makers related to how you prepare your own kits with your printed pattern papers. So we'll be looking at that, but it isn't something in the short term that will be available. And then we are not bringing over close to my heart colors and cardstock and adding them to our line. We have a robust line of 50 colors. So there will be a transition. We'll talk about that a little bit. But long term, we will be sticking with Stampin' Up's colors. And then the other piece is we don't have immediate plans for SVG files. Again, we may look at adding SVG files in the future, just as we try and get all the physical product done. This is where our emphasis is going to be really for the next 9 to 12 to 18 months, probably.
Yes. Okay.
So with all of this is long-term vision. That doesn't mean that it can happen tomorrow. So let's talk briefly about what is kind of happening more quickly or what the transition plan is. So what I want to do is share my screen, and you're going to see the behind the scenes as I try to pull up the right piece, because I'm going to have to move my little person. I'm going to display it so that you don't see all the things. We'll see if we can get that to work. Okay. So products and policies, we're still on the product part. So let's talk transition. As you know, close to my heart is we're going to have products that are available only for makers and or former close to my heart customers to purchase during a transition time. And the primary reason for this is because of order quantities. The companies are very different in size. And so this is products we were able to purchase from close to my heart, but the amounts that they had purchased supported their size of business, not our size of business. And so we want to make sure that all makers are successful as they come in and continue their business. So these are transitional just for them. So we've got a slide so that they'll kind of be familiar with some of these things moving forward. They'll know the terminology, but we wanted you to have an idea of what that is. Just so you know, paper collections are kind of like sweets for them. So similar wording. So anyway, we've got some different things coming in. You can see that on the slide. I noted close to my cardstock colors. So when we bring over a paper collection or a scrapbooking workshop or card making workshop kit, we will bring close to my heart cardstock packs and stamp pads in the coordinating colors. Okay, so That's the way we're bringing that in, again, only for makers or those with like an account with a maker.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think, Ash? A list is fine.
Yeah, let's show them a sneak peek. That's way more fun.
Okay,
This is why we're cool, because we know stuff that's a sneak peek.
Right. So this is just an example of the product. There's a sample as well as some of what their printed papers will look like, as well as their sticker sheet. Please know that as we show this, it's a kind of a work in progress. We're taking files from Close to My Heart's catalog.
Yes.
We will be putting that together for sale, but we wanted people to be able to have a visual. And then here is another sheet.
But this is really good for maybe some of our demonstrators who aren't as familiar with the workshop kits, because this is the type of experience that you can expect.
Okay. So like if you look at this workshop kit, you'll see like printed pattern papers, coordinating two-tone cardstock, and then you see some sticker sheets or other embellishments. And this particular kit has a stencil with it. Okay, so that is May, June, roughly. There will not be a preview period for the Close to My Heart product, which for Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, that's the same as a pre-order. They will go live for customers and makers at the same time, just because of timing and when we can get products available as well. And when we say May, it will not be, we don't anticipate that it will be May 1st. It will be sometime in the month of May, just dependent on when we can get the product ready to go. Okay. And then we've also got this standalone thin cuts, which is, we call them dies, but it's an alphabet one. So you can take a look at that. Okay, cool. I want to jump ahead. Now we talk June, so similar. Same kind of thing. It'll be different styles. Here we'll be adding mix-ins. So makers, you'll be familiar with that. It's a printed paper that can be used across the paper collection from one month to another and make it more versatile.
Yeah, it's a really cool concept.
Okay, so we've got that. Again, sneak peek.
All right.
So this will be offered sometime in June. Again, makers only, part of the transition product from Close to My Heart. And then we will...
Cute, right?
I love it.
It's fun.
I actually want this, but I can't get it. So that's all right. And then here's another example so that people can see a little bit more up close what that will look like. Okay, that'll be the last of our sneak peeks, but we did want to hit what'll happen beyond that. So July and August doesn't mean it will be a 2-month. It might be separated month by month, but in general, we'll add 2 more paper collections. And for makers that have been asking, that will include summer gnomes. So you will be able to finish the series. Our makers have had a gnomes collection for a year. They've already purchased 3 of the seasons. So you and your customers will be able to get summer gnomes, again, makers only and their customers. And then some other products. So kind of the same process in May, June, July, and August. All of these will be supported by a digital or downloadable flyer or supplement. We will not have a printed publication for these products at this time, just because of timing. Okay, and then September to December, what's different, Ash?
Here's what's exciting about September to December. We will be able to open up this product to everyone, whether you're a demonstrator, a customer, or a maker, or a VIP. Everyone. Anybody new. Anybody new.
Okay.
So this is really exciting for us. And I promise we don't have an exact date for these either, because my team is working feverishly, as are many other teams in the building here at Stampin' Up, trying to get these ready for all of you. I can't promise that we will get the order quantities right off the bat, because this is new for us. We don't know exactly how these are going to sell, but we're really excited about what we're offering. I think it's going to be pretty fun.
Okay, so we say September to December because that's when we have a mini catalog. That does not mean all of these products will launch at the same time. It doesn't mean that there will be a pre-order period for them, and they will not be in our printed publication. So these will be supplemental products added to our online exclusives category. We will have downloadable flyers, though, for this kind of thing. And as Ash said, we don't know quantity, so the intent is no restrictions on who can purchase. But they are products that could run out more quickly as we learn new forecasting patterns for these kinds of things. So this is where you'll see scrapbooking workshop kits that we talked about. A couple of these will actually tie to suites in our September to December mini catalog. And then some will be not tied to any suites that we have. You can see a card making workshop. We'll do some independent stamps, some stamp sets that have a scrapbooking focus. And then here is where we will start to introduce our two-tone cardstock in Stampin' Up colors.
In Stampin' Up colors. Everything in this that's available to everyone will be in Stampin' Up colors.
Okay. And then the goal is to have some memory protectors at some point during this time frame. So it's not the detail, it's not the when, but at least in your minds, hopefully you'll go, okay, here's the progression and here's kind of what's happening as we move forward. I want to check and see what is next. I think it's policy. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, come back to us. Anything else, Ashley? I think that covers pretty much.
I think so. I just want to say we're really excited and my team is committed. We are invested and we are working hard to get products out to you faster than we ever have. So thanks in advance for your understanding as we're learning together and getting on top of this. We're really excited about the potential to offer a more robust memory keeping line.
I love that. Okay, I'm going to exclude Ash for a minute so she can get back to working on the product for you.
Thank you.
So Ash, go ahead and take that. Okay, thanks,
Tori. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and then I will keep going. And what I want to talk about, sorry, you saw me dip below the screen just a little bit because I want to hit some of our transition policies related to some of this product. So as we jump in, I'm going to just make sure that I'm in the right spot when I share my screen for you again. So I mentioned before, and you saw in the initial announcement, this transition product is available to makers and those with a Close to My Heart account so that we can have them have a good experience as they transition over to Stampin' Up. The other thing is our policies for both companies were very different. And so we are reevaluating all of our policies. In fact, we were undergoing a major policy project prior to any of the Close to My Heart things happening. But now we're taking the things that we had talked about and we're looking at the Close to My Heart policies to say, should we make some additional changes beyond the ones that we were talking about as a company? That process will take some time. We anticipate that we will be able to have new policies shared by the end of the year that would apply to all demonstrators, whether someone is a former maker or not. But in the interim, we will have some transition policies that Close to My Heart makers that become Stampin' Up demonstrators will follow as they start to transition. And hopefully this will make sense to you as you see what some of those policies are. So again, I'm going to pull up my screen and I will share some slides. I know you're seeing like all the behind the scenes pieces. Okay, so we'll jump forward. Okay, so the first thing is competitive products. For former makers, Close to My Heart products will not be considered a competitive product through the end of 2024. So what that means is Close to My Heart makers that become Stampin' Up demonstrators can continue to sell or show Close to My Heart product. Stampin' Up demonstrators, you cannot. You have the same rules because Close to My Heart was competitive before. So if you have Close to My Heart product, you need to follow Stampin' Up rules, but this applies to makers. So it means that former makers can sell both Close to My Heart retired inventory and Close to My Heart products that we release through Stampin' Up. And then other competitive products and company restrictions apply per Stampin' Up policy. So all makers that join have access to our policy documents so you can keep track of what those are. But I share this because if you're a Stampin' Up demonstrator and see somebody showcasing both product, it might mean that they are not breaking any rules, but during the transition, they're able to do this. Okay, cash and carry, there will be different policies for former makers. Former makers can cash and carry all Close to My Heart product purchased through Close to My Heart. They can also cash and carry all Close to My Heart products that they purchase through Stampin' Up. So this is different than what our policy is for Stampin' Up demonstrators. Stampin' Up demonstrators, your policy has not changed. This is just to allow those that maybe were building up inventory to be able to sell their inventory because it's what they have been used to. For former makers, if you're selling anything Stampin' Up related, you have to follow Stampin' Up's cash and carry policy. So the exception only applies when you are selling close to my heart product. Okay, next, trade shows and expos. So for our makers, you can still participate in a trade show and expo through the end of the year. Many of you had contracts, and what we know is often shows will not let two representatives from the same company be at a show. So if a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator was already going to be at a show and the Close to My Heart maker was going to be at a show, how would that work? Well, we want both to be able to do that. So Close to My Heart makers can sell Close to My Heart product that you've got on hand. You can also sell Close to My Heart product that you purchased through Stampin' Up. Again, with no restrictions. You're following the old Close to My Heart policies, which is different than Stampin' Up. You can use the Close to My Heart brand for your show through the end of the year. You can give out business cards and flyers that say that you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And you can go ahead and say that you're transitioning to Stampin' Up!, but you need to keep Stampin' Up! Separate outside of that so that you are not impacting any Stampin' Up! Demonstrators there. So you can have a Stampin' Up! Branded booth if you want, but then you would have to be all Stampin' Up! With no Close to My Heart products, and you would have to follow Stampin' Up!'s policies related to cash and carry. You can't use a Stampin' Up! Logo for advertising. That means your signs if you're selling Close to My Heart product. You can't give away or sell any Stampin' Up! Product if it's not Close to My Heart related, or even catalogs at a booth where you're showcasing Close to My Heart. So basically what this means is if you're doing a show under the Close to My Heart name, you are acting as if you were just a Close to My Heart maker, and you have almost nothing to do with Stampin' Up! Minus maybe a business card web address or talking to someone telling them that you are starting to move over. That allows you to be a different store at a trade show or expo than a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator who has a booth. What we don't want is for either group to have an advantage because they have the option to sell both products. So that's why we're asking through the end of the year, if you've already had commitments, you're welcome to do those. You just need to keep them separate. Let's talk about demonstrator produced kits, or Close to My Heart makers often call these custom kits. So for a maker, if you are selling a kit that you made and it only uses Close to My Heart product, you'll follow the Close to My Heart rules. So that means you can sell custom kits that have full packages of things in the kit, right? That means a stamp set or a full package of cardstock. It also means you can sell your custom kits where you took cardstock and divided it among your kits. And then you can include stamped images if they are Close to My Heart stamp images. Okay, so again, Close to My Heart product, you can follow Close to My Heart rules through the end of 2024. This applies only to former makers. For anyone that has Stampin' Up! Product, whether it's alone or combined with a Close to My Heart product, you have to follow Stampin' Up's demonstrator produced kits policy. So that means no stamped images, and you can't put full packages of things in your kits. So make sure you're familiar with that policy if you're a maker making the move. And for demonstrators, it's the same policy that you've had. Also, we've had questions about templates and cutting guides, and those can be sold in a kit or independently, which is what our current demonstrators can do as well. And then one last thing that I want to talk about specifically for our makers, because this is something different than you're used to. You have the ability to do your own personal promotional offers for your customers, as do Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. But we have one exception, which is demonstrators cannot discount the starter kit or add additional value as an incentive for joining your team. Okay, and so that is a policy that we will be enforcing from day one. So good refresher to those of you that are demonstrators and then makers. This is something new that you will want to follow from the beginning. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I know that that's a lot of information. One of the things that we will be doing is when we post these videos, we will have a selection of frequently asked questions or questions and answers that touch on a couple of these things. as well as by the end of April, we will actually have an official updated transitions policy document that will go out to all new Stampin' Up! Demonstrators and all existing Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. So this is just so that you can know what to plan for as you're moving forward. But before any maker that becomes a demonstrator can start selling, they will have access to the policies in writing in a policy format, and all of our existing demonstrators will know that as well. So know that that's coming the end of this year as well. One other quick policy related thing would apply to SVG files or using a Cricut. Our makers, this is a big part of their business. So again, transition-wise, continue to follow the policies that Close to My Heart had, which means you can use your Cricut and your shapes and those kinds of things. And we are actually working on that policy right now for all demonstrators. And I anticipate that we may have information about that one before the end of the year. Most of the other big policies will come later in the year, but we're working quickly on that one so that everybody knows long-term, both Stampin' Up! Demonstrators as well as makers, as we move into the scrapbooking realm more fully. Okay, lots of information. I hope it's helpful for you to hear. We are so excited about the opportunities that we have to make a difference to more people in the world, to the community of crafters that maybe like to craft a little bit differently than we do. And Ashley mentioned this, but we have a large portion of our customer and demonstrator base that actually love scrapbooking. Right now, they've been taking our products and making them work in their creative endeavors. And what we're excited about is that we will actually have product designed more specifically to meet the needs of those who are 12 by 12 traditional scrapbookers. Does that mean things like Memories and More for us will go away, or some of our other scrapbooking things that we've done in kits? No, not necessarily. It's just what we're going all in on is making sure we have full support for those who choose to do traditional 12 by 12 scrapbooking and memory keeping. We will stay connected. We will continue to give you more information as we have it, but we wanted you to have this information now as you make your decision makers or know how to start, and Stampin' Up! Demonstrators so that you can help your new Stampin' Up! Friends as they begin this amazing journey with us. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day. Bye.